Hi friends, welcome back to Race Crate Cards. Today we're going to do a Christmas/winter card, depending on the sentiment you want to put on your card as to whether it would be a Christmas card or a birthday card. I don't know about you guys, but I have a few people in my life who have winter birthdays. So, with that in mind, I wanted to show you Simon Hurley recently had a release for Christmas winter. I got some of the items. I didn't get all of them. One of them that I got was his layering snowflake dies. I'm going to open it up. You're going to see all but one of them in here. The neat thing is you can elect to do the detail snowflake or just the outline. You can elect to layer the detail ones one on top of the other. You'll notice this one is missing, but there's a reason why. We'll get to that in just a minute. And I thought this was retired. And I got on Stampin' Up's website a few minutes ago, and it is still available. So this is a Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder, which even if it had been retired, I would have still used it. I'm still going to keep it in my stash. For the sentiment inside my card, I ordered this some time back, and this was my first time to use it, but it's called Christmas Card Scriptures. And there are 5 in here, Divinity Designs, and the one that we are going to use is Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. Now I want to point something out to you. I guess you would call it purple rubber, not red rubber. I've never had an issue, even though they don't give us stickers to put on the front like Stampin' Up always did. I've never had an issue getting these lined up, and I didn't with this sentiment. I've already got it lined up in my Misty. But let me tell you, and I'm being 100% honest when I tell you, I lined up the stamp on my cardstock, okay? Lifted my Misty door, lifted the stamp, and I put, and I've showed you this trick before, a little piece of acetate or some kind of clear packaging that stamps come in. Whatever you want to use, I laid it over my cardstock. I inked it up and went down to my acetate. Look at that. See how straight that's stamped? So, you don't have the stickers, but it's okay. I just have never really had an issue trying to get theirs to line up. I just never have. So, they do a really good job. And I'm willing to bet that is still available. The other thing that I did get from the Simon Hurley release, and I can't wait to get into these and play with them. Look at these playful penguins. There are 16 dies. Look at that. Spellbinders does the dies for Simon Hurley, in case you did not know that, and that's why their name is also on here. But look at all the little details, and the wreath, and the bow, and the little antlers, and the Rudolph nose, and the little bits for their cheeks, and their bodies, and their inside and outside part, okay? So you're going to have the part that goes on the inside, and then you're going to have the background part that you would do in black. The little sweater, little gifts, their little feet, and their little beaks. Aren't they adorable? Can't wait to use that with you guys. And then directly from Spellbinders. I thought these were amazing. These are dancing. This is a dancing gnome Alfie. His legs actually swing back and forth. How do they do that? Well, here's the die. It's going to cut a circle out. And those of you who use Stampin' Up or no matter, just put you a piece of round foam right there. And then when your body goes on top, the legs are going to swing back and forth. So I got the gnome. I got these for my grandsons, by the way. And I got the moose. Isn't that awesome? Now you'll notice that some of these can be kind of tall. Like this says I'm almost 6 inches tall, and that one too. You can cut those legs off. If you're making an A2 size card, I plan on trying to do 5x7s out of these, but if you're making A2 size cards, just cut the legs off, because if you see, the legs can actually be cut, and then you can piece your little booties and things to that shorter leg. Same here. You can cut that off, not a problem. You can make those legs shorter and still glue your little pieces at the bottom. And then here is Dancing Douglas. Now he's not as tall. I don't know if it tells me, but see how much shorter the legs are here? So you wouldn't even have to cut his legs off to get him on an A2 size card. And here's the thought I've got, if I can get brave enough, guys, I have got Pear Blossom Press light up lights, and I would love to do him with this lamp instead of the ornament and make it light up. I've had it for several months and I've not used it yet. So anyway, that's just a few of the goodies that I got recently. This is a retired Stampin' Up set. I loved it when it came out. I love it still because I want you to check out these dies. If y'all never got it, I am so sorry. You have Joy, Bright, and Peace, and you have 3 layers. So you have a background layer, a middle layer, and a top layer. And it's rare that you will find a word die set that has 3 layers, commonly 2, the shadow layer and the top layer. But I kept it for that, plus all of the sentiments that can go along with that as a secondary sentiment. And then you have all these other really cute elements. I don't know if this is 2 years old, 3 years old, how old it is. But again, that's not leaving my stash because it is just so wonderful to have. So these are the things that we are using in today's card. And I am going to start with a card base out of Highland Heather. For the rest of the video, I'm just going to say purple, guys. I have got every color cardstock and every color of ink pad. And while, yes, I can sell them and I may end up at some point, I'm using what I have. Just like I tell you guys to use what you have in your stash, use what you have. You can change your color scheme up, not a problem. And then I took a piece of my accent opaque cardstock. I cut it to 4 by 5 1/4. So no, I didn't. 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I ran it through that embossing folder. And I know it's kind of hard to see that on camera, but I've got that. And I have already die cut a few of those layers. Now, at some point, I had ordered a packet of holographic cardstock, and I don't remember if it was Simon Says Stamps, Scrapbook.com. This was probably 3 or 4 years ago. And each 8.5 by 11 sheet was a different holographic. And this one here, honestly, you could use it like confetti on a birthday card, but I thought it might be kind of cute to bring in with the snowflakes. And because it has a rainbow of colors, I knew it was going to pick up that Highland Heather tone that is in there. And then that was the outline die, the biggest snowflake. And then this was the detailed die, and I just did that out of white cardstock. And then the medium die, I did the outline in the Highland Heather and did the detail again out of white. And for the very top layer, I want to cut one more piece out of that holographic cardstock, and there's a reason why I didn't cut it yet, because y'all know I have showed you before that you can use a magic cutting mat, most especially when you are cutting with any type of metallic cardstock. And the great thing is, if you run it through with clear cutting plates that are etched, you get those artifacts into your foil around where you're die cutting. Well, that can ruin it and make it to where you can't use it. And so something that I figured out I'm not sure why my camera is not focusing right there. Anyway, I've got the Gina K Intracut, and y'all know I recently got her magnetic platform. So I'm going to back this out. I don't know why it's not wanting to focus on that. So I've got her magnetic platform with the magnetic cutting mat on top. Okay, that is your typical sandwich. And then there's a clear cutting plate that would go on top. Well, if you've got a big enough piece and you want to save and reuse as much as you can, use your magic mat. I wanted to show you how easily this goes through. I've got the side dial set on die cut, and I'm just bringing that through, and it's going very smoothly. It's not hard to make it go through. Okay, see if I can get this off. There we go. I'm learning to use it on the silicone mat. All right, so now I've got this off. I'll bring this up. See? Oh, can you see? It's so pretty. I love this. And I save even these little pieces because I've got enough room right here and enough room over here, maybe even here, to get maybe a small star. We all have those star cutting dies, and it would be nice, like maybe for a birthday card, a baby's card, or even a winter Christmas card. So I save those until I can't cut anything else out of them. And you see how well that cut and that pretty. I love it. I love it. So this is an easy, simple card today. Again, using what you have. You have word dies, I'm sure, that come from various places. May mostly be Stampin' Up, but I actually use what you have. My designs, I mean for them to be easy and simple so that you can use what you have and substitute very easily. I will put a link to the Simon Hurley snowflake dies. Now, I am no longer a demonstrator with Stampin' Up. I can put a link in my description below, and I have done it before, but here's the caveat. Caveat is, I would have to link to my demonstrator, who is Brenda Gates out of Morristown, Tennessee. So when you follow that link, be aware that it will have you shopping with Brenda Gates. Otherwise, just go to Stampin' Up, and in the search engine, type in Snowflake Sky. Actually, I searched snowflake. That's all I typed in, and this was one of the things it came up with. It will come up with the Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder. So if you're already signed up with someone that you get your supplies from, absolutely just go straight there, and that way there you don't have to worry about your demonstrator getting the credit. And I'm just going to start layering all this together, and then we'll get the inside sentiment as well stamped. Get that layered in there. So this goes to show, and I don't know about you guys, a lot of times if we're wanting to do Christian themed Christmas cards, guys, we can only do the nativity so many times, right? And I do have a new nativity die from Hero Arts. Haven't gotten it out or used it yet. Haven't even showed it to you guys. Do have it. And I do plan on using it. Stampin' Up has given us nativity dies. And I need a big block to lay over that because that wants to kind of smear a little bit on that slick surface. So let's lay that there for just a second. And then my next layer is going to be this solid Highland Heather. Hopefully it kind of looks, it still wants to move just a little. Ah, yeah, it's still wanting to move. Oopsie. Okay, there we go. All right. Now, you have options. You can put the longest toward the longest, or you can turn it. Whatever look you want. I actually just kind of want to keep them just like so. And then I have another layer out of that medium intricate out of my white cardstock. And we'll get that on there. Oops. Get all this layered. Here we go. Am I still on camera? Yeah, good. Okay, just kind of finagle that. That layered. I don't like where that one's at. Sketch him over a bit. There we go. Better, 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 better. And then the very top layer is again gonna be that holographic cardstock. Now, Stampin' Up! Gave us some holographic cardstock a year or so ago, and I think there is still a package of it current in the annual catalog. If not, look in the online exclusives. So any holographic cardstock is gonna work. It will. No problem. Doesn't matter. And then I'm gonna lay this, hopefully, kind of lined up with the other little branches of the, well, branches, arms, whatever, the design. Let me kind of get this up here. I didn't put that one more layer in. I just went from the medium to the smallest snowflake intricate middle piece. There we go. Because I already had quite a few layers that were going on here, so. All right, we got this. We have this. Now, one thing I am not sure about, I'm not sure how I want to do this. This is kind of big. So, I'm looking at placement here. I think that'll work. I think it will. Let's go ahead and glue down the snowflake, and then we'll work on getting the rest of it done. And then I do have one more thing to show you. Let's see. Right about there. I'll lay that on there. And I want to take this and get these two glued together. And I'm not squeezing. I'm just doing the tiniest little drops of glue here and there. Just enough to hold it down. You don't have to cover the whole thing. I do one little bit right in here. In here. There we go. I think I got more on me than I did on the die cut. Line this up. Go very slowly and carefully. There we go. Oh, isn't that pretty? Oh, I love it. I like that. I like that a lot. Now, this glue isn't sticky. The Barely Art glue that I'm using is not. However, if you get a little bit of moisture on your fingers, it is going to stick a little bit. And then we're going to maybe, see, I don't know. I don't know about using that backer right there. You know what I think I'm going to do? I don't think I'm going to use this. Let's see. What do you think? I think that looks really good and not quite so cluttered or heavy. So even though it's going to be white on white, in real life you're going to see that snowflake embossed background. And I'm going to angle it just a bit. Let's move this over to the side. I gotta cap this ever so quickly for the moment. And bring in my Misty. where I already have that sentiment. And kind of push this up a little bit better. And I'm going to use my VersaFine pigment ink for fine details. This takes a hot second to dry, but I like it. It makes, I don't know how they do it, guys, with these inks, but when I have something that I know is kind of fine lined, that's my go-to, that VersaFine for fine details. I love it. Okay, let me push a little harder. I've been trying to be real easy. You're supposed to take out your mats when you're using rubber stamps. I don't take mine out. I'm aware it's going to feel a little bit thicker, and I just choose to be very gentle in how I apply pressure so that I don't overdo it. And let me see here. Not sure why I'm not getting as much ink right in here. There we go. Very nice. And I can see it's really, really wet. So let me take my chamois if I can find it. I'm not sure where it is. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. I'm just going to wipe off my stamp with as little noise as possible. Go over here to the side. And yours truly is getting ready to take a few days off. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. But in order to take the few days off, I got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. Oh no, I had this in there. Well, poopy doo, I forgot I laid that in there. And I laid that in there because this is pigment ink. And yes, I had cleaned my stamp, but I was really nervous about closing that door and not having any traces show up. Well, that might have been why I couldn't seem to get it to stamp well. You reckon? All right, looky there. I love it. And I could have used purple ink or, oh. Now, let me do this one more time. Because that is a pigment ink, it will tend to stain more than just a regular dye ink. And so I've got my Gina K Tidy Towel, and I'm just wiping up the worst of it. Just the worst of it. And then later what I like to do is take a stamp cleaner to it. I still have some Stampin' Up! Stamp cleaner. And I'll take a toothbrush and some spray and make sure I get out everything that I can before I put that away. And here is that. And I'm looking. I still see where it looks just a little bit damp. So to make sure that I don't smear it, I'm going to take my little hair dryer thing here and just make real sure that it's good and dry, because if I smeared it at this point, I wouldn't be a real happy camper. Let's see. I'm just going to gently, and I'm not seeing any black come off. Oh, that's awesome. Good, good. But at this point, after putting all this much work into it, I really didn't want to mess it up. Okay, we're going to get this glued in. And if you watched my video last week, it was a beachy card. Let me get some of that off of there. It was a beach card, and I told you I needed to make 2. I did make the second one, and I'm going to show it to you just ever so quickly. Again, it was using products from Honeybee Stamps. There we go. There is the inside of that card. Isn't that sweet? So do you see how you don't have to depend on the nativity or, you know, little cutouts of baby Jesus or Mary and Joseph or the town Bethlehem. I mean, those are really nice to have. They are. I'm not saying they're not. And if that's your preference, you go for it. But we can take what we know to be winter Christmas imagery, even a Christmas tree, even a picture of a house, a cardinal sitting in branches, okay? And as long as you're putting the sentiment that reflects your belief, you're good. You're golden. You're good to go. All right, so let me show you. So last week, this was the beach card that we made, and I used the coordinating stencils with the cover plate for the water and the sand, and then here were the die cuts that we used. Well, there's a couple other sets. One of them is called a layering sandpaper. I didn't use the coordinating stencil that Honeybee has. Whoops, I'm really out of camera. I didn't use the one that Honeybee sells, although I have it because I used it on this card. What did I use? This is new, it's Stampin' Up. It is their So Swirly 2D embossing folder. It is not a 3D, but isn't that neat? I thought that worked very, very well for a sand background. And I don't know if you would have looked at that and thought about that, but yeah, it made a perfect sand background. And then I took, so Honeybee has this cover plate die that looks like a fishing net. And if you cut it in half, you've got 2 nets for the time to cut just one. And so I cut it in half out of Berry Vanilla and just laid it across the middle. They have 2 different shell die cut sets. They have a large and they have a small. The one I bought was a small. And I just took my alcohol markers, my Ohuhu markers, and I just played. Like on this shell right here, I've got 3 different colors of blue. And so there's my 3 different shades. I have a dark, a medium, and a light. And I use that darkest because you would have some shadow right there inside the shell. And then my mid-tone coming out to my lightest tone. Okay, and then here are the 3 layers for the sandpaper. I love that bird. And what I did is I took the classic matte dots. Of course, if you had clear, whatever you had, these are retired. There was very vanilla black and basic gray, smoky slate, not sure. Anyway, I ran out of the black ones, so I started coloring the gray ones black with an alcohol marker. And there's his eye. Now, it does cut out the eye. It does, right there. So, it cut out. But initially, when I first started cutting out my bird, I kind of got messed up on my layers and my colors of my layers. And so you're not going to be able to see it. But there is that little eye that it die cuts out. But you can't hardly see it because it's the same color as the body, which was early espresso. So if you'll cut the big body that cuts out the eye in a dark color, and then your middle piece, which is this one right here, is partially covered up, out of your light color, and then do your top layer out of your dark color, then you'll have some definition. But there we go. Happiness is a walk on the beach. Isn't that cute? So that is my second card. And there was something else I was going to show you guys real quick. Oh, yeah. How many of you have been watching Hanging with Hero? And we have another one coming up tomorrow. Yeah, as I'm filming this, because this is Tuesday, the 27th. And so tomorrow evening, now I'm on Eastern time, and I believe it's at 7 o'clock Eastern time, maybe 8 o'clock. I'll have to go double check. Hanging with Hero is going to come on again on Jennifer McGuire's channel. Hanging with Hero is celebrating their 50 years, and every time they do a Hanging with Hero episode, Hanging with Hero, Hero Arts will put something, some category on sale for 50% off. So I want you to look. You see these oval dies here? Look at that. I think there's 18 in this set. Yes. And I've already been playing with them, so I don't have them all lined up. But yeah, there are 18. I paid $12.50, y'all. $12.50 for this huge set of layering ovals. Ditto for the infinity arches. The nested arches. There's not 18. There's 15, 12, something like that. Let me open this. $12.50, guys. $12.50. Was that not awesome? And so, tomorrow night, they will reveal another flash sale that will be good for 24 hours. So, if nothing else, at least tune in, learn a little bit about the history of the stamping industry, who was around first, you know, who got started with stamping. Stampin' Up! Actually was a starting place for several people in the stamping community. So, it's definitely fun to hang out and learn all these little tidbits. So, I hope you guys have a very, very good week. Be happy, be blessed, know you are loved, and God is good all the time. Bye.